Major changes coming to the H-1B worker visa program after President Trump signed a proclamation that he says will ask companies to pay $100,000 a year for skilled worker visa applicants coming to the United States. Madeline Rivera is here in studio with more. Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Mike. So this is interesting. The Trump administration has brought up a number of frustrations with the H-1B visa program. The H-1B visa allows employers to petition for highly skilled foreign professionals. The administration says it's been exploited to replace American workers with employees who are paid less. They say that makes it harder for Americans, especially college grads, to find jobs. Critics also say there are national security risks by fewer Americans pursuing careers in science and technology. About 85,000 H-1B visas are available each year. Recipients are typically chosen through a lottery system. That number could go down significantly if the $100,000 annual fee for these visas survives legal muster.
If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land. Train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. That's the policy here, $100,000 a year for H-1B visas, and all of the big companies are on board.
Tech companies will likely feel the brunt of this change. Government data shows Amazon has the largest group of H-1B visa workers, with Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and Google trailing behind it. Back in December, President Trump said he supports H-1B visas. Elon Musk credited the program with bringing him to America and allowing him to hire people for his companies SpaceX and Tesla. Separately, the president is rolling out what he calls a gold card immigration pathway. It would expedite visas for immigrants who can pay a $1 million fee. Companies can pay $2 million to sponsor an employee. The president says the gold card could bring in billions of dollars in revenue, which he says will reduce the country's taxes and pay off debt, Mike.
We will follow it. Maddie, thanks so much. For more on this, I'm joined by Pennsylvania Congressman and House Financial Services Member, Congressman Dan Muser. Congressman, welcome.
Mike, great to be with you.
First, let me get your reaction to this change to the H-1B visa program.
Well, you know, the largest change actually is that the rules of the H-1B will now be enforced, because they really weren't before. It wasn't managed. No one was held accountable. 85,000 people were coming in a year. They would overstay their 3-year allowables. There was no tracking after that. So the whole thing was terribly mismanaged. And the president, you know, frankly, is just absolutely right. I mean, he was elected to carry out his America First agenda. You've got young people spending $200,000, $250,000, $300,000 on college degrees to get these type of tech jobs after graduation, and yet, you know, we're giving so many of them away. I mean, it's gone up rapidly. The numbers don't lie. It's like 28% now of those jobs are fulfilled by foreign workers. And you know what? The employers are taking advantage of that. They feel they can pay them a little bit less since they're coming from other places with less per capita. And now with this $100,000 fee sort of equalizes it, and we'll see how it goes. You know, the president puts these things, and Howard Lutnick, you heard, we'll see how it goes.
Well, if it's late September, you know, Congressman's having a government funding fight. Now, you all passed a continuing resolution in the House, and then it failed in the Senate. So, Congressman, how does this play out?
Well, we did pass it in the House. You know, it's a continued resolution. There's a couple of other things, but it's very clean. It makes all kinds of sense. Look, the only reason we didn't get our appropriations bill done by September 30th is because we had the BBB, and that was highly significant. That was the priority, and it was so very important to get done. So we need a little bit more time here. The idea that the Democrats are playing ridiculous politics here, it's an extension into November. There's really no harm behind it. You know, Chuck Schumer is all concerned about, you know, his political position, and it's just terrible. You know, it's once again they're putting politics over people, and that's not a cliche. I mean, that's the action that's taking place. So we need to get this done. The Senate needs to pass it. We need to get on with the people's work, and it's very important. And if not, we shut down the government, which will really, in the end, helps no.
At this point, House leadership, Congressman, is not planning on bringing members back until after the deadline. In your view, is that likely to change?
It could, right? We'll all certainly be on standby. This is very, very important, but it's really up to the Senate now. We did our job. It's a good CR. It's clean. It's for a short term. The Senate now needs to act. We got serious issues that our country needs to address: economy, national security, NDAA. In my committee in financial services, we're working on combating fraud. There's a lot of work to be done. We need to get this budget done. Get the appropriations bills completed, move on, do the people's work, strengthen our economy, because I'll tell you what, Mike, we're really on a roll. Every indicator, people want to say, oh, tariffs are doing this, and, we're seeing the Fed lowering its interest rates finally. That needs to continue. We think it will. So we can have a great 25 closing out, accelerated economic activity in the fourth, have a higher GDP, and really have a great 2026.
Let me follow up on that quickly. You're a financial services member. What's the impact or what's the state of the American economy?
It's very, very good, and I don't say that because that's Dan Muser's view of things. I mean, I talk with bank presidents, I talk with Federal Reserve folks, I talk with certainly the administration, I talk with a lot of banks, I talk with a lot of businesses, and international businesses. Things are having a sort of a soft landing, if you will. There's really concern for a recession. We got pro-growth initiatives, companies, the CapEx investments are coming in. We see some of those foreign investments coming in. Those interest rates really need to come down because housing needs to kick off from that. And the lower interest rates creates even more pro-growth supply side production. Once that domestic American-made production meets demand or exceeds demand, that's certainly the definition of lowering inflation. So I think that's a good thing going. We can't let Schumer and those who are looking out for their politics rather than the best interest of the country. There is a time to govern. There's a time for politics. There's a time for govern. Let's get things done for the American people. So we have these economic opportunities forward.
Congressman Dan Muser, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.